Welcome to another episode of The Stream Room. Thank you again for coming back and listening to us with your ears and maybe even your eyes if you're on the vodcast right now. This week, we're going over possibly the major reason that most new streamers quit doing what they do. Why is that? Well, we're going to discuss it today, but I am Reapz, one of the digital buskers.
Hello, I'm Eljay.
And I'm Nick. What's going on, guys? Hello.
Hello.
Goodness me, I'm glad to be here. Guys, can I say, our commenters and the listeners and the viewers and the eyeballers, they're very lovely. They're very kind.
They are.
They're very nice to us. They're constantly being so supportive. Like, oh, this was so helpful and interesting. Oh, I love that you guys made me laugh while talking about depressing topics like parasocial relationships and doxing.
Yeah.
It was a very humbling comment as well. I just saw it too.
Yeah.
Go on.
Good on you, Benj. Good on you.
Yeah,
Thanks for the comment, buddy.
So obviously we'll start off with, like we usually do, our week that was, all the failures and successes. And I saw in the comments as well that people really like that because it makes them feel better about themselves, that it's not just like up and up and up and up and I'm doing something wrong. Every, I should say, content creator out there has those failures that you just like, it's awkward to talk about, but it's nice to get off your chest. So does anybody want to kick us off?
I will, but first, let me
Yes.
throw out there really quick. If you guys want your questions answered, chuck them in the comments. Consider subscribing, consider liking, because doing those things really helps us out on a brand new channel.
Yes.
And yeah, jump into it. I think a lot of people don't realize how important those CTAs are. So a little extra bonus tip: if you are a new creator, just spruik it. People who get upset about CTAs, tell them to CTA meaning call to action. Just tell them to go away. You don't want them. You want the people who will
Be
click.
gone, devil.
I had a great week so far. For me, you guys know this, but others might not. Yesterday on stream, live, I interviewed Harris Heller. Less of an interview, more of a conversation, more of a casual chat. More like two best friends catching up, I'd say, honestly.
Best friends is exactly how I would
You
describe
call
it.
him hey hair, double H. How you going?
Yeah, that's how it is. We just have nicknames for each other. I call him Schnookums.
It was Valentine's Day. I mean,
It was Valentine's Day. I did organize it for Valentine's Day. I interrupted him playing, watching Demon Slayer though, so I do feel a bit bad that he didn't get to finish Demon Slayer. He had to come to see this demon instead. But no, I had a really good week. So leading up to the Harris Heller interview, I had a pretty solid week. I started my week with some pretty big raids on my first night of the week, which was really fun. But also in the same night, I got hate raided, which was really interesting.
oh,
But my chat didn't even know it happened. So I started a stream on Tuesday, and within 30 minutes of going live, I had been hit by over 250 follow bots, and my auto moderator had caught a bunch of just bot slurs. But I managed to completely play it off. Not a single person in my entire chat knew it happened. Like, because
That's
I just slapped a button and kept going. And I said, are you guys noticing anything? And everyone was like, no, everything's fine. And then like 2 hours in, I said, man, I can't believe we got hate rated at the start of the stream. And someone was like, wait, I've been here the whole stream. I didn't see that. And I said, yeah, that's right. It's called moderation. Set it up, team. Set it up.
Can we know what the magic button was that you press so if people are in similar situations? Now, like, that's the LJ special right there.
I've got my Twitch auto mod set up with a bunch of words. It's actually pretty much the default word list, just set to like level 2.
Yeah.
I don't even have verification required in my chat. I think I have it set that if your account is less than 2 weeks old, you require verification to chat. But otherwise, I don't want to push people away who are just new to Twitch. And then I've also got my auto mods from Stream Elements. So if there's like any big symbols and stuff. But honestly, all I did, I clicked turn alert box off. I clicked turn alert box back on, because that just completely skips to the start of the queue, and the guy wasted his first 150 followers, and then he tried to do it again about 5 minutes later, tried me with another 112 or whatever it was, and I just went boop and pressed no, and it got rid of it. And then the next when I finished stream, I reported 2 of the bots, and within about 30 minutes, Twitch had removed, I think, about 100 of them, because I just saw 100 unknown users in my thing.
Yeah.
And then woke up the next morning and the rest were gone. And so now it just looks like I got hit by like 100 follower bots because they removed it so quickly. Twitch tracker didn't even update, which I just think is amazing, right? Like,
That's awesome.
Everyone always acts like Twitch doesn't do anything, but man, they fucking smacked them down this time. They were quick. You just got to report a couple, just a handful.
Yeah, on the ball. Actually, I recently just added a alert box off to my my stream deck as well. So I've got pause, mute, and just like, so I'm like, yep, easy done. Turn it off. No worries. Won't listen to it. So
Yeah.
I think there was another popular one that was running around was Seribot as well.
Yeah.
I
I've
think.
never looked into Seribot because I know that some people have a need for it, but for me, I'm like, I get a decent amount of kind of troll raids here and there, but not a huge amount. But I just feel like Seribot, it's great, but I don't think it does anything that you can't already do with other bots. It's one of those things where it's like, I know someone built it and it's helped a lot of people. I'm not saying it's bad. I just feel like you can already do a lot of it. It's more just people didn't know the tools existed or how to use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, that was a fun way to start the week. Get a little hate raid and then go straight into a really fun stream and get some really big raids and hang out with some lovely people. And then for the rest of the week, I kind of just meandered a little bit for the rest of the week, to be honest.
Okay.
I talked to you guys about how on Friday I had one of my lowest average viewer streams ever. And that was essentially, I went live and I got to like 98, 100 average viewers really quickly in like 45 minutes. And it was really fun. And then I switched to do a segment, which was called Aussie Slang that had been requested, which I thought would just be chill. I thought it would just be, I'll read out some Aussie slang. People can guess it. We can laugh about it, whatever. We've done smaller versions of it in the past that did really well. And I thought, cool, I'll give it a go. I wasn't looking at my view account for any of this because everyone knows, don't stream with your view account on. While I was doing it, I went down by 30 average viewers. So people weren't into it. There was nothing bad about it. I think people it wasn't engaging enough to hold them, which is totally fair.
Yep.
So then I jump into Pokemon Legends Arceus, right? And when I switch over after about 5 minutes, I check my view count because I want to see if it's tanked after switching from just chatting like it normally does. And I'm at 70 average viewers. And I'm like, holy fuck, people really don't want to watch Arceus. Not the case whatsoever. It was something completely different that caused it, right? So anyway, I keep doing my best. And within about 30 minutes of playing Arceus, I'm back at 97 average. But I don't keep building up because I'm so thrown in my head of the concept that I guess people really didn't want to watch this.
Yeah.
So instead, I just kind of hang out. I try have fun. I do my best, but I keep thinking I'm not making good enough content. And I look at it. Honestly, I'm making pretty decent content. It's just not like amazing, right? It's not the best. So I kind of just hover between the 80 to 100 mark the entire night until near the end, where all the Americans wake up and I start climbing. But here's the thing. I'm still running this idea in my head for the next like 12 hours. People don't want to watch me play Arceus anymore. That's fair. I guess I'll just stop this playthrough maybe next time. Next day I wake up and this is the big learning moment for everyone. If you don't do this, if you have a shitty stream, don't just go, that shit. Open up your stream and watch it back. Watch it back with your little viewer graph there and figure out what's going on, right? And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known that it was the Aussie slang that caused the dip and Pokemon that brought it back, right? And I learned that segment didn't work and I can figure out why that didn't work. And I think it was more just, it wasn't visually engaging, right? And I think that's really interesting and really powerful that I had a big failure of a stream. I almost blamed it on something, but I learned not to fall into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You were able to accurately identify where the problem was in the stream. You didn't just write it off as like, well, I guess it was Pokemon because that's when I looked at the viewer count. All right, bye. And then, potentially affecting your future viewership because you're stopping Pokemon now.
Exactly. And also, the viewer count thing didn't really intensely affect me. I feel like 3 weeks ago, if I checked and seen 70 average viewers when I normally average 110, 120 at that stage of a stream, I would have been really thrown, right? Like I would have been really thrown. But I was only semi-thrown this time. And the reason was because in my head, I've constantly got this new outlook where my stream isn't about my viewer count. It is about the content I will make from it after and engaging the people who are there, right? And a lot of people say to me, I've seen big dips. I've gone from 15 to 5, done the blah, blah, blah. What do I do? And I always say the same thing. You reached 15 before for a good reason. People enjoyed your content. Why did they enjoy it? Remember that and then focus on the people who are still there enjoying it. Don't focus on the people who left. Make good content. And so that mantra has really helped me a lot lately. And that mantra has also helped me go, cool, I may not be at 100 viewers right now during Pokemon, but I'm going to go out of my way to try and get like 20 TikToks made from this stream. And I did. I got like 10 TikToks. All of them failed, but at least I made them. You know what I mean? All of them have done terribly compared to the first one that inspired the rest of them.
Yeah.
But I did it, and
you're still getting it out there. It's just about getting stuff out there.
I think a lot of people, when they see that dip, they're like, oh, I'm a has-been, like I will never be able to climb back up. But as you said, if you got there in the first place, you can easily climb back up. It's just that feeling that, oh no, it's all over for me. That's it. Everyone has to climb back up. You will always fall. It's like that stupid kind of cliche thing. You get knocked down, but you get up again. Like it's always, you got to keep going. And I really want to drive that home because sometimes I feel like I may be a bit negative on the stream at times, like saying this, that, and the other. But really, like, we're all trying to get to the same place. And there's so much competition. There's so much everything. Do, as LJ Nick says, and focus on that content, because one day it can break through. And you yourself, if you've got that content and you've done all the work around it, they then lead down a big path. It's like creating a YouTube channel. You put out one video, it gets one view. You're like, well, it's over, I'll never do it. Or you keep plugging away, you do all those YouTube videos, and then there's one that, you know, hits it like out of the park, like, holy crap, so many views. And then they've got this whole catalog. If you hit that first one and you do a YouTube video that got like 500,000 views, but that's your only video, then they're like, you're going to see a decline immediately after, because it's like there's nothing else to see. So keep going for that content. Sorry.
No, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
It's also, you're also, for the YouTube channel and the YouTube thing, the thing I love is yesterday someone said to me specifically, they go, oh, when do I give up on a topic and move on? And I said, what, for YouTube? And they're like, yeah. How do I know when a topic's not working? And I said, well, for Stream Scheme, I knew it was going to take me 20 to 30 videos before the algorithm started recognizing anything, because it requires end screen and card clicks and session time increase. And I need people to watch 5 or 6 of my videos. And if I've only got 5 or 6, they're probably not going to watch all of them instead, you know. So if I got to get to 20, 30 before I have the relevancy and have all the content there. And the guy wrote back in chat, and this isn't me making fun of him. He's actually a really lovely person in my community. He goes, oh, I was thinking like after 4 or 5 videos, I should move on. I was like, hey man, this is every single YouTube content creator that I've spoken to. Every small content creator who starts YouTube.
I do it. Yeah.
They give up so quickly because it's just like, I'm not seeing returns. But if you release 5 videos, right, across, I don't know, 2 months or whatever it is, a month, and you say you get like 100 subs from that, and then you go like, well, I only got 100 subs in my month, I'm going to give up. Then you come back 2 months later and you start releasing more content. Those 100 subs aren't going to get recommended your content anymore because they've moved on. They've not clicked on anything you've seen in a month. The algorithm thinks you're a dead channel, so you're not going to get recommended anymore. And none of your old content is going to be recommended either. So you're essentially giving up on all of that. Whereas if you have the momentum where you release 5, cool, I got 100 subs. I release another 5. Maybe you get 110 this time, you know? And all of it will slowly scale. If you look at Ludwig's original YouTube channel, and I think we've gotten a little distracted, but I'm still going to call this out. If you look at Ludwig's YouTube channel early on, it's really, really, really interesting to see that he's getting all these viewers from Ice Climber. From like Smash. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, Ice Climber fail, Smash videos and stuff like that. And he's getting all these views and stuff like, but he's not getting any subs on that content, right? This is his old YouTube channel. And then it's like, he just starts releasing his own content. And he starts getting a few subs here and there. And it's like 9 months. It's like 9 months worth of just him releasing content and losing subs sometimes because it's not Smash content, until finally it just picks up. So it's like he released 9 months worth of content where it was every single day, I think it was early on. They weren't all great, but you know what? 9 months worth of content before actually picking up, you have to push so hard to reach that.
Yeah.
Especially because he's also transitioning from an audience who wanted to see his Smash compilations. And it's like, people just give up. People just give up after 5 videos, and it's not. It's so much more than that, which is why I think shorts are such a trap, because they give you such a good little feeling. Like, yes, I released a short. It got 2,000 views. And it's like, okay, how many returning viewers?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, I got 5,000 views on this. And it's like, nah, dude, you didn't.
Yeah.
You got like tiny little impressions on a shorts feed that no one's ever going to come back. I've talked too much. How did you guys go? Week go.
Reapz, take it away, Reapz.
Yeah, sure, definitely. This week has been a fun one for me. It's like we talk about when you stream and you know when you're having fun or you don't know when you're having fun. You know, sometimes you're just there because it's like, I'm here, I've set this schedule, I've got to be here, and you just don't have that zest like you always do. There's just ruts that you're just like, I don't know what to do. But this week it felt really good, man. I kind of went back to my old school things of variety. I'm not saying it's good for growth or anything, but just for my mental state and like for me being on camera, I was like, I'm feeling real. I had a lot of fun. We did like random days. Like yesterday, I played this old game that nobody would ever play called Kitty Powers Matchmaker. Like, what the hell is that?
What the hell, dude?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
are you doing?
It was Valentine's Day, so I was like, let's play this matchmaking game. And people were having so much fun. Like, I had so many people like typing in the chat, doing this, that, and the other. It was, don't get me wrong, some people didn't like it, but obviously, some people didn't like me playing Dying Light. But I had so much fun doing that. And I've had, lots of raids this week, and I've, collaborated with people, and it's just been really, really nice to kind of do things. I've been releasing TikToks each and every day, as well as YouTube shorts, and I've been putting onto my Instagram reels, and The fact that, you know, some haven't popped off, some have done well on the shorts thing, but as you know, their impressions and stuff like that, it's just nice to know that people are watching what you're doing. So I think the shorts is more of a mental thing for me, where it's like, okay, at least, you know, 2,000 to 3,000 people have seen this little thing of my thing. Maybe I'll convert one person out of that impressions, but it's nice to know that I am doing something for the future. It's not just like I'm going to stream and I hope one day that I will break through. If somebody likes what they see, they can go over to my Twitter, which links them to the TikToks, which links them to the Instagram and everything. And there's content on all of them at the moment. I'm feeling really inspired. And also, I've been doing a lot of walking, as we've talked about in the past. I've been doing walking, going to the gym, going straight after today. And it's the most therapeutic thing ever for me, where it's like I can focus on what I need to do in my head and become so much more clear. When I'm in front of a computer, I find I get ADHD where I'm just like, I got to do this, but I got to do this. And in the back of my head, I got to do that. But which one should I do first? While I'm at the gym, I'm like, this is what I do. To anybody out there who doesn't know how the fuck to like coordinate your life, this is the biggest trick that I have done my whole entire life. Write down everything you need to do in a list. And then between, you know, use your numbers of chronologically go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the most thing that you have to do first. So, which is the most important thing, and then work your way down. And that's the easiest thing to do. Label it all out. Know what you got to do, 1 through to 10, 1 being the most urgent, and then continue on. So that's been really good for me. I am in a bit of a predicament now where it's like I'm streaming tomorrow and I don't know what to play. So that's a big one for me. Hopefully I can figure it out, but until then, who knows?
I feel like you'll be fine no matter what with your just chatting stuff. Like you can go live and do a community night where you just play games with your chat, and you'll always crush it. Honestly, I feel like sometimes with you and I, Reapz, I don't know enough about your community yet, Nick, but I know with Reapz and I, a lot of the time, our community is very much would rather do just chatting and games together. Like they would rather very much just do that. Like it's like I could sit there and play 3 hours of Arceus or Odyssey, and they'd be fine. They'd enjoy it. But it's like if I said to them, "You want me to play Arceus for 3 hours, or you want to play marbles?" and they'll all be like, "Marbles!"
It's like even the red cordial. They're like,
legitimately,
Honestly, yeah, no, my community is very much the same. They're very engaging. Like they're like kind of a lot of people know each other as well, and they interact with each other. So yeah, they'd be very much the same.
yeah. But Nick, I've done my week. How about yourself?
Yeah,
how did you go?
I actually had a really good week this week. So we hit 1K subs on the YouTube channel, which was
very
awesome.
Nice.
So that's been great navigating YouTube monetization. But that's been a bit of a wild west. So yeah, that's been really awesome. And after some recent chats that Eljay and I were having in the Discord a couple of weeks back, talking about like the YouTube channels and this and that, and I've basically refocused everything. So we're combining 2 of them. Originally, it was going to be 2 separate pieces of stuff, but it's all stuff that's coming from stream anyway. So rather than even as Eljay was talked about in the past, where you on your second channel, Eljay, which was like gaming focused, and it's really hard to break out with gaming content. So I'm kind of mixing that with like any of the just chatting stuff we do. So if we do that, it goes on there. And then I've got my separate tech channel. And then I've got like a third YouTube channel, which is just like a VOD channel where I can export my Twitch VODs there. So we think that's going to work a lot better. And then my TikToks and shorts have just been doing really well this past week, which has been awesome. So I've been really happy about that with the performance, and also did a really fun stream on Sunday where it was meant to be. We started with a segment and then move on to more hardcore Minecraft on the flight stick. Ended up going for the entire stream because I underestimated how long it would take.
What?
I got a tier list, and we were rating Minecraft mobs for what would make the best pets / best friends.
Okay.
And everyone was loving it. They were engaged. Everyone was, weighing in on with their opinions on where things should go. And there was like lots of back and forth, rebuttals for things. It was great. It was fantastic. The one thing I did notice, kind of looking back a little bit, like we had really like the numbers and the engagement was great, like pretty much the entire stream. We were freaking going off on tangents. We're on a D&D tangent for like 20 minutes at some point. But I think it went just a little bit too long, because like the last half an hour in stream is when like it was which I think was around like the 12:30 mark. That's when like kind of everyone kind of went into lurk basically.
Gotcha.
And kind of the engagement went a bit down. I was like, all right, so this clearly went on like the stream was like about 5 hours, I think, in length. But yeah, I was like, I realized, okay, if I'm going to do this in the future, I'm going to create something that's a bit shorter so people don't just kind of fall off the engagement towards the end. But overall, it was a pretty successful stream. I went into it with the fact that this is going to be YouTube content, and it was honestly really great. So I'm going to be excited to basically slap an engaging thumbnail on it. And
it's funny you say that about when they like at the very end of the stream is also when my thing curves off as well, because a lot of people are going to sleep. So it's like, that's why I always have to start with like just chatting the segments, the YouTube bits, so that there is that engagement, because I know that come like, 3 hours in the future, they just want to lurk. They just want to watch me act like an idiot, screw up in the game, you know what I mean? And then fall asleep, that kind of thing. So yeah, you make a very good point there, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So no, it was a successful day, but also a good learning experience as well. So it has me revitalized for the week.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I've been setting a timer, because you mentioned how long it goes. I've been setting a timer on certain bits, and like if it's a segment that I know is supposed to be a YouTube video, for example, I've done a few. This happened because I did a tier list called ranking the worst first dates, right? Or best to worst first dates, and I was just ranking all of them, and I came up with them all myself. So I don't do tier lists on the tier list maker. I have a Photoshop template I built, and I'll go and come up with all of the different ones and then order them. So it's like a funny concept, a funny like order to go through. So like it'll be like, oh yeah, this first date going on a picnic, and then the next first date will be like overthrowing the bourgeoisie. You know what I mean? Like it'll be something like that. And the first dates one was really good. Chat loved it, but it went way too long, right? And then I couldn't edit it down into a video. So instead, what I've been doing now for anything that's a segment, and this might help you guys as well, is setting a timer on it so I can't do that for more than an hour, or even more than sometimes 45 minutes, because it makes me have to be snappier, more confident, and it means that when I get into the editing process, it's way quicker to edit it down, and often it's just so much like better, because you can maintain the energy for the entire tier list if it's 45 minutes to an hour, but the moment it starts getting to an hour and a half, it's so hard to cut it down to like 15, 20 minutes, and you notice the energy near the end really falls off, which hurts your attention.
Yeah. I think it depends on what you're ranking as well. Like, is it going to be simple things that you can like, that you and your chat can easily decide, or is it going to be stuff that's going to have like major conversation about where is it going to go? And also how many things, just the quantity of it. Like I underestimated how many Minecraft mobs there were in the game, because I'm just like, I just found a tier list maker and I was like, oh yeah, that looks about right. And I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot here. there's a lot. We had to like cut a few towards the end. That were like double ups and stuff, but yeah, having a timer would make a lot of sense, Eljay.
Yeah. I think it just pushes me. It just pushes me to get things done quicker. Also, I did notice that on my first one. So so the one that didn't work was the first dates. Then I came back and I'm going to rank household chores, right? And so I halved the list for household chores, so I had a lot less to go through because I realized how long it took. I set my timer. And I made sure that every single one I said, next on the list, gave a little bit of preamble, boomed it with like, pushed it out. And then I would always make sure that I made at least one joke or one snappy comment. Even if it was shit, I just had to be confident about it. Because the worst thing in the edit is when one of them you don't give anything to it. You know what I mean? If something is being talked about and you don't give anything to use, that is just a retention rate killer. Like if a single one for tier list videos, from what I've seen, if a single piece of the tier list is like, I don't really know much about X, Y, Z, or I don't really care about this one, or this one's not great, or it's like really long and waffly, people are like, and they just click off, they go somewhere else. So it's I didn't expect that out of everything, tier lists to be so complex for a YouTube video. I think a lot of bigger guys don't have these issues, but at our size, we're still like kind of get into it.
I want to go on that point because this week I did, like for my YouTube segment, I'm doing, as I said, a weekly YouTube segment where I make a big deal about it. I tried 15 flavors of Arnott shapes. And if you don't know what Arnott shapes are, they're like a biscuit down here in Australia. They're basically chips with flavoring on them and you eat them.
Is there really 15 flavors?
There was I have 15 boxes with different flavors. It was crazy. So I did that
more
segment.
If you think like limited edition.
Yeah, the limit. Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But with them, I I'm thinking, I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, but I think of it as like, okay, I need to do a YouTube video, and I also need this YouTube video to be made into shorts or TikToks. So with your point of I need to say one thing about everything that's quick and snappy that could be made into like a 10-second TikTok, that's in the back of my head as well. So it's like here's my overall idea. I'm in a stream, which is trying to do a YouTube video, which is trying to do TikTok stuff. It's like a weird kind of like a layered onion that I'm trying to do all at once. But I don't know if I nail it. I don't know if it's like too diluted because I'm trying to do too many things at once, but I'm experimenting with it. But you make a very good point there. If you are making YouTube content, even if you're not doing it for TikTok, you're just doing it for YouTube, the quicker and snappier, the better. The best videos that I like is seeing when it's like 8 minutes of like an idea and you're like, this is going to be easy to get through. But it's like, I got 8 minutes. When you see the ones that are like 30 minutes for a tier list, I'm like, I'm not watching a 30-minute tier list, no matter what content creator you are. I just don't have the time nor the kind of energy to be like that invested into, you know, X, Y, Z, you know? So that's for me though.
It's the session time as well. So this is one of the things is if you really want to blow up as a gaming channel, and I'm saying this and I fully know full well that my channel does not do this in any way, but that's because I like to waffle. But essentially, if you want it, you look at people like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, or Video Game Donkey. If you do shorter 5 to 10 minute videos that are very, very, very like absorbable, you know what I mean? Like you can watch it, it's very easy. And then it's very more-ish because you do want more. And if your end screen pushes them to want more, or you call out, for example, click here, that session time increase is so powerful. And it's one of the reasons why Stream Scheme's been so successful is because I would have so many session time loops. I'd say, we have this other video as well. When you're done, click the end screen, you'll be able to there. Or the last like 6 videos on Stream Scheme I've said, and if you want to learn to be a better creator, then YouTube thinks that this one right here is for you. So give that a click. And my end screens have like doubled or tripled on some videos. Crazy. And that's one of the reasons why like so many of my videos over the last few months have performed so well. Yeah. Is because people are watching until the end, and then the people who do watch to the end, they go and click another one. And you know, a 20-minute video getting watched fully and then an end screen being clicked, YouTube's like, oh yeah, give me more of that.
I love that YouTube is an entity that's like, whoa, get this guy on the front page. Yes.
Just the Aussie YouTube. Just the Aussie side of YouTube. That's it.
Oh, mate, yes.
God, I don't know what it is. I can't reach the Australian audience. I've tried so hard to reach the Aussie audience, but I don't think I get many Australians because I don't think I come across as very Aussie. Yep. Like, I don't think I'm a very Aussie person, right? Like, I don't really have the accent, you know, I don't reference Coles and Woolies enough, you know. I just don't come across very Australian. And so I can't hit that Aussie audience because I think a lot of Aussies, they like to see a bit of a rougher, rougher Aussie accent. Yeah. And the moment you hear an Aussie accent amongst a bunch of Americans, as an Australian, maybe just me, I feel good. Yeah. I love it. If I join like if I join a stream and there's like 10 people there and like you can tell all these Americans, all these Yanks are there or British people are there, and you hear that one Aussie accent, it's so distinct. Yeah. And I just think I don't come across Australian, so I can't hit that demographic, which kind of sucks because Australians are the best.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. No bias whatsoever. LG, you're telling me you don't get people coming in asking if you're British?
I tell them I am now. They'll be like, what country are you from? And I go, can't you tell? Hello, governor, chip, cherry, water.
Yes, New Zealand. It's one of those things. Yeah. But it is true. Like, I think we are very unique to people who aren't Australian, obviously. But when you're Australian, it's like, this guy isn't truly Australian. I don't want to follow this guy. What's he talking about? But we should probably move on to the actual crux of the episode here today. Yes. And that is one of the... Big ass goddamn motorbike just flew down my street. Sorry. That is one of the reasons that a lot of people quit streaming or any content creation really when they first start off. I think it's that immediate thing of like, if I'm not successful in the first month of trying, then, you know, like it's the fault of the machine. It's not my fault. It's, you know, don't hate the player, hate the game type of thing. So what we're going to discuss today, what we think is a big reason that a lot of streamers, content creators, whatever, videographers quit trying to be known, and that is the possibility of burnout. I say in quotation marks. Big old burnout. Burnout.
Dude, okay.
The phrase, the dreaded phrase.
Yeah. So we were talking about this, just quickly, we talked about this last week in the session planning for the podcast, because a clip from the Daily Dose of Jay Schlatt, a short, which I don't watch shorts normally, but this one popped up and I watched it as a real video. My disdain for shorts is real. So I watched it as a real video.
Yeah.
And it was essentially talking about people putting their weight and people putting their energy and people putting their self-worth into their view account, right? And they'll be streaming and they want to feel good and they want to have a high view account. And so they look at their view account, but it's low and they don't feel good. And that's not appropriate or helpful whatsoever to make good content because you don't feel good about it and your self-worth is gone, right? I saw that and I was instantly like, this is a great topic for a podcast. I would love to talk about this with you boys because burnout, I would say personally, burnout comes from two main places. The first is not enjoying yourself. Like you're not enjoying what you're doing. So you feel burnt out. You don't want to go live. And the second, I would say, is not meeting the goals you set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel that is accurate as the two places burnout comes from?
I would say that those are definitely two places.
Yes.
I would say that there's additional places as well as in terms of the legitimacy of every single day doing something for your content creation career and just like, holy crap, I can't think because I'm so tired and so over it that I just need that, 2 weeks, a week away to just clear my head. But I do think that is a very valid point because I know that when I have had burnout and I've only been back for like a few weeks, it is because I'm not enjoying myself because I'm not doing something proactive that will further my career.
I like it. I think it's so it's so tough, right? Because when you're starting out, you've got nobody to motivate you. A lot of the time, you also don't even have a community you have to be responsible to.
Yeah.
You purely just doing this thing and you're getting nothing in return for it. The only thing you can have to say and turn around when you're a small streamer is, at least I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, exactly. It leads me to think. So, I think one thing that'll sort of give a lot of this context as well. How long have you guys? We'll go through one at a time. How long have you been creating content in general? Like, just when did you start? Make that did that first Twitch stream? When did you make that first video or whatever? And then, how long have you been doing it seriously? Like, at what point did you like go, yep, I'm going to hit the ground running. I'm going to go harder at this.
Yeah,
and give this
that's
a go.
Very good question. I guess I can start. So the first time I ever went on Twitch and actually streamed was March 2017 when I actually had internet that could stream. That was a big point that I couldn't do earlier on. I think a lot of us would have that issue as well in terms of we didn't have the internet here in Australia. We have some of the worst internet in the world. It sucks. But March 2017 was my first time. But before that, I was a promo producer. So I used to edit footage of other people and I hated editing footage of other people because it's like, why aren't I editing my own footage? It was that thing of like, I'm furthering these people's career, but not my own. I've also come from a background of like theater. So I've done acting, directing, and kind of writing. So I've always been in a creative space and I love performing. I love entertaining. I love being creative and being around creative people. Hence why we've got this podcast, because they always inspire me to do better and to do more. But when it became an actual career for me in terms of Twitch itself was, I think a lot of people would echo this statement, was the pandemic because you had nothing else to do. You were kind of in lockdown. It's like, what else am I going to do? I may as well try and further my career. And I started popping off when the pandemic started because a lot more people were staying home. They were looking for entertainment. They were looking for interaction and, being sociable online. And that kind of perfect chemistry was what really started my career off. And now I've been doing it for about 2 years as a part. I was partnered on my birthday, so April. So it's only been 2 years of doing this full time. And I've been able to, fund myself, which has been amazing. But don't get me wrong, it's scary at the same time. And now that we're doing in podcasts and we're doing other avenues, I feel a lot better about my longevity in this scene rather than just being on Twitch. So that's my answer.
I think for me, I've been a video producer for about 7 to 8 years now. So I've been doing content in a lot of different forms, both for clients, both in personal, private, creative projects. And I've done that for a long time. But I never felt like I always wanted to be a content creator for my own stuff, like be on camera. But I was always anxious to take that step, honestly, because I thought I was going to fail at it. So instead I was a content creator for others and I made creative projects. And I made all these projects and I kept seeing them do really well in certain circles and I get a lot of success in my industry and my career. But I felt like they weren't reaching the maximum potential and the maximum number of people. Like if I made a project, for example, if I made a project or a PSA or a little doco about mental health or DV or some serious topic, and I apologize to go serious, I would go and it would get a lot of acclaim in my circles and in my industry. But I kept having this feeling that the people who needed to see those films weren't in those circles. You know what I mean? Like, it's like no one's going to be sat at some film festival in, fucking Canberra. And they're going to be like watching this thing being like, oh my God, this is everything I needed to hear. Like, because the people who are truly in bad situations, they're not there drinking a Chardonnay and talking about the arts.
Yeah. And the awards that come with it. Yeah.
So I just thought, fuck it. And I quit that I quit that just hard and went into running my own sole trader business still. But I also went and got a job as a digital marketer. And I taught myself video search engine optimization, understood the YouTube algo. And then I did that for about a year and a half before I was like, I hate this job for many reasons, the company, not the actual work. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. I was because a mate actually pushed me. A good mate of mine was like, dude, I streamed Divinity Original Sin 2M through Discord. And he thought it was the funniest thing. And he said, you need to just go live. Just go live on Twitch and do this next week. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I started March 1st of 2020, March 1st, 2020. And I'll be entirely honest with you, as dumb as this is, I went hard straight away. I didn't do it as a hobby. I didn't do anything. I went hard straight away. I was working 2 other jobs. So I was running my sole trader business during the day. Then at nighttime, I was doing VSEO for an American company overseas. So I would jump on calls at midnight and I would do an hour to 2 hours of VSEO and client work for them. Then during the day, obviously, I would go out and I'd film or I'd edit. And then I'd stream from like 7:15 p.m. until like 11 p.m. every single night, or 4 or 5 nights a week. And I did that from March 1st. Literally, I pretty much never missed the night. In my first year, all the way up to March 1st, 2021. So my first 365 days, I missed only 6 streams and then 3 streams at Christmas for an entire 365 days.
Wow.
So are you talking like you streamed every
schedule.
single day?
So no. So I did 5 streams a week and I only missed 6 in a whole year other than Christmas.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then March 1st, I announced to people that I'd be cutting back to 4 days a week. And I did 4 days a week. And I'm coming up to, obviously March 1st is coming up again. But I'm back at 5 days now. But March 1st is coming up again. And that'll be my 2 years on Twitch. So I reached partner in under a year. And then it's now been a year that I've been partner. And I'm coming up to my partner anniversary on 1st of March. Oh, nice. Sorry, because I got partner February like 27th. So I'm just combining all my anniversaries into one big thing.
Yeah,
smart.
But yeah, I just went hard. Like, to answer your question, I just went absolutely hard. And because I kept seeing so much growth, I never really struggled with burnout. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds kind of, it sounds like a flex, but it's not. In fact, it was kind of the worst thing ever because I never really got to acclimatize to ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Shalaluya about this, and he said that because he's seen only success, that graph has only been going up. Last month, when that graph went down a little bit, it really shook him.
Yeah.
And I totally understood what he meant because I kept seeing so much solid success up, and then just pump. And then it dropped down, and I had to quickly acclimatize to the concept of there are going to be ups and downs, everything's fine. And it took me a good couple months, and I'm only now really getting into the concept of, I don't care, whatever.
Yep.
But it's also partly because it's just so strange to me that, Friday night, as I said, I had a terrible stream, 83 average. Yesterday morning, 162 average, peaking at 250 for the first 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Live streaming content, if you're putting all of your weight in your average viewers, you're setting yourself up to feel like shit constantly.
Yeah.
Because you can't control that. Like, you can't. Like, I can't go live every single day with some big event and have 250 average viewers for 2-3 hours every day. I can probably go live maybe once a week with a big fun event. Yeah. But, and it's just impossible to use average viewers as your goal.
It's like ratings, really. There's so many variables in terms of viewer count, but the big thing in the States is always what were the ratings for the night. And you always see during the Olympics, they push all their big shows back 2 weeks and go, coming back on, March 1st, because they don't want to compete with other people. But you are always competing with other people when you live stream. You can't just be like, I'll come back in, when it's really peaking, really when it's really hitting off. I know that this is my season. You know what I mean? You are always going to be against other people. And I wouldn't use the word competition to the extent of like, you are actually like, I hate that person, I'm going to beat them in this. It's more the fact that you are always in a ecosystem of multiple thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people streaming at the same time as you. And there's only a limited source of people watching that, medium, that it's like, it's always going to be peaks and troughs. There's always going to be ups and downs. There can never be a constant. You cannot always be climbing. You can never always be climbing. There's always going to be a fall and then a rise and then a fall. And it's like a heartbeat, really. But yeah, there's so many variables that you cannot counter that that's why when we saw this clip that Eljay sent from Jay Schlatt's, I think it's called, what's the name of the podcast? We should probably shout them out.
I don't know the podcast name. I just know it's called The Daily Dose of Schlatt, which is where he does like daily content uploads.
Yeah. And in it, they were saying that even at such a size as Schlatt, he hides his view account, which is just a smart thing to do, obviously, because he says that he also has those fears of when he's doing something that he really enjoys, but he sees the view account going down and he thinks he's being really entertaining. But then as soon as he puts on a, Hell's Kitchen or something and is doing nothing, literally just watching another person's content, the view account goes up. So it's like, where do you stand on that? So, yeah.
No, it's interesting. As you grow, the mindset changes, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people sort of, I think, look at that a little bit closed-minded, going, "But you're still getting 1,000 viewers. How can you ever feel like that?" It's like, well, no, he's grown to the point where he's got a new base. He's set new goals, right? Yep. He wants to keep going up. So when he's experiencing those dips, it's gonna hit him hard, just the way it hits us at our levels right now. Mm-hmm. And Eljay, when you said like how you said you went hard from like the very beginning, like you obviously wouldn't have kept going if you weren't enjoying it as well. So you obviously had that like you started it and you were like, well, I'm going to start this. I'm going to do the right things from the get-go. But at the core of it, you still like you wouldn't have kept going now if you weren't loving what you were doing and being passionate about it.
I really think that enjoyment is one of the big things, because I get asked a lot. So yesterday, I was telling you guys before the podcast, I interviewed Harris Heller on the thing, and afterwards, I had a lot of people ask me questions about burnout, because we talked a lot about variety content and how to do variety content well and how to shift from a niche. And Harris's thoughts, maybe we'll talk about that later, but Harris's thoughts on that was super interesting. But essentially, people kept asking like, "Oh yeah, no, how do I avoid burnout?" And I kept saying to them, if you're burnt out, like if you actually are like, you're a small streamer and you're like 0 to 15 viewers and you're feeling burnt out, you don't want to go live, you probably don't enjoy doing this, or you're not enjoying what you're doing. Like, you figure out why you're not enjoying it. Like, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm playing this one game and I'm kind of bored of it." And I'm like, well, then you've got to swap. And they're like, "Yeah, but then I lose my viewers." And I'm like, okay, well, you're exactly what every streamer goes through. Mm-hmm. You have your viewers and you have your burnout, and you have to decide which one you think is more important, or how to deal with it, or find a different way to avoid the burnout. And so I always say that. And then I say the second one is you're setting goals for yourself. And this is the two I mentioned at the start, that you probably can't control or achieve, or you don't feel productive about. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I look at that is in the sense that if you set a goal saying you want to have 20 average viewers, and then you make content, and that content's amazing, but you only get 5 average viewers, you feel like shit.
Yep.
But if you set a goal that says, I want to turn this stream into a video, I don't care how many views the video gets, I just want to turn it in there, or I want to learn an actionable skill, or I want to improve myself as a creator in a way that I can see, and I want to set a deadline for doing all of that, well, you can't fail. Like, if you do all those things and you do those actions, you can't fail. And as long as you're aware of the productivity and the progress you've made, you don't feel burnt out anymore. And a lot of people say things like, "Oh, well, yeah, okay, so what? I go make 20 videos, and if none of them perform, I'm not going to feel burnt out." I'm like, well, it depends. Did you enjoy making those 20 videos? And did you improve as a creator every single video? Or did you just make 20 shitty, mediocre videos that no one's going to click on, that doesn't stand out, that isn't noticeable, and then you sat there and pretended like, "Oh, woe is me, I made all these videos, I deserve views," when the reality is, you might not have. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people feel burnt out because they set a bad goal, and then they do mediocre work to meet that goal rather than actually trying to progress. Because it's pretty hard to feel burnt out when you look at a catalog of work and go, holy crap, I've improved so much over the last 6 videos.
Yeah.
I've improved so much over the last 7 streams. Oh my goodness me, look how much more confident on camera I am right now. Like you feel good about those things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's one of my things. I never feel burnt out anymore because there's always something I can see myself improving, and I can always see myself being better than I was than last time.
Yeah, I think there's I think some people might have a certain idea in their head. There's a difference between sort of burnout and also just feeling like you need a break, because at the end of the day, content creation is still a job. It's still very mentally and physically taxing. So like that, I at least, once or twice a year, I take like maybe like a week off or like half a week off or something, just to give myself a bit of a refresh, because we all need that. Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about burnout in the sense in like someone is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not having fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just classifying for everyone listening and watching.
Very good point. The difference between like when people say burnout, they mean one of two things. And that is obviously that I just need a break in their mind, or I'm really not enjoying doing this anymore. I want to change careers or paths. And we're talking about the one where it's like you feel that you're not enjoying it and we're wondering, how can I get that feeling back? And you both make really good points, because you are so right in terms of if you're doing videos or streams or something and you're not learning anything and you're literally treading water, then yeah, that's when I feel like I have the most burnout, where I'm like, do I really enjoy doing this anymore? But when I started, like, this is a weird thing, but I'm really enjoying thumbnails these days. I'm really enjoying looking at thumbnails when I go on YouTube and going, oh, that's a really good thumbnail. It's so simple yet so effective, and I want to click on it. How can I, for my own content, make something like that? It's really weird. Like, you go through different phases of what really motivates you. And at the moment, the other day we're talking, actually today we're talking about Eljay's thumbnail for the podcast of last week. So check out last week's podcast if you want to know what I'm talking about. It was literally so simple yet so effective that you don't even need to read the title of the video itself. If you, let's describe it, may as well, even though I want them to kind of go back and click on it and see what we're talking about for those extra views. But it's the subscribe button that you see. If you know Twitch, you would just know the purple outline in the rectangular rounded box. And it says $4.99. And instead of subscribe, it says friendship. And that to me is the perfect thumbnail for a parasocial relationship in a digital busking world. And I know that I would want to click, and I was like, that is so fucking simple yet so effective. I don't want to give Eljay too big of a head, so
I'll do it then. I redrew that by hand. I just want to point that out. There is no PNGs or any high quality footage or stuff like that of the sub button, and it's so small you can't do it. The inspect elements comes out like 200 by 200 pixels. Just throw it out there. Even the star, I redrew the star with the paint tool. This is entirely.
You
can't make stars with any of the shape tools.
Yes.
So I made the box, the rectangle with the shape tools. Then I added the text and found the right fonts and stuff. And I redrew the star, added a little bit of a shine. And I thought, okay, what's the best background? I tried like 20 different backgrounds before I landed on this one. And I think this, out of every thumbnail I've ever made, on every YouTube channel I've ever done, including Stream Scheme, this is the best thumbnail I've ever created.
I would second that. I'm not saying that your others are bad in any sense
How
of the word.
fucking dare you second that? I can say it, but you can't say it.
Sorry, I mean, they're all good, but this one is like the
this
Mecca,
one
baby.
is the chef's kiss.
It is. It's
Absolutely.
like the right there. It's so good.
I think doing thumbnails for this podcast has been a really fun awakener for me, because like I love doing thumbnails like this podcast, and for my personal channel, because it gives me a lot more freedom. Because on Stream Scheme we use a thing called momentum thumbnails, which means that I use very similar photos every single time. I use very similar art styles. I use the same font. I use the same colors. Like, it's pretty much I use the exact same thumbnail with tweaks to be about that topic. And a lot of people are like, "You're so lazy. Use a different face. Use a different thumbnail." And I'm like, I appreciate that that's what you think. But if I want to be a content creator, like these people who are content creators, and they're criticizing me for using the same face, right? And I always say the same thing. I go, if you think that's how it works, go make content and do better than me.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I'm doing is a real thing. Go look at Dream. Go look at Tommy Innit. Go look at Mr. Beast Reacts. Go look at just Mr. Beast in general. Go look at every single large content creator. They use the exact same expression, 4 or 5 expressions, and they will use them over and over and over again. And every single one will look exactly the same in terms of the style. And it is called momentum thumbnailing. And it means that when if someone clicks a video and they enjoy it, they'll click the next video or another video when it pops up if they recognize that it's you and they recognize in their head, I enjoyed that last one, I'll click this one. And someone will go, what if they feel like they've already watched it already? It's like, you are underestimating the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Like the YouTube algorithm is so smart in how it shows people things and when it does. And it's like, it's so powerful to have that momentum and that look.
It's branding.
Also, YouTube shows you like it shows that red line underneath, right, when you've watched something as
Exactly,
well.
yeah.
Like, so,
Yeah.
but no, it's absolutely like, I think because you posted a screenshot when we were talking about that in the Discord, like you could go to the video tab for Mr. Beast. And it looked like it's just the same thing, just constantly, like all down all his videos. It's all the same. Like if you guys go have a look, you'll understand exactly what we mean.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. Like I am trying to up my thumbnail game as well. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be trying to improve and trying to achieve the enlightenment of Eljay. That's my goal setting right now.
I don't think I'm like a very good. I'll be honest. I think I'm actually pretty shitty at thumbnails. It's just like I'm getting better. But also on the topic of momentum, by the way, not even talking about large ones. There's also you can make if you make a really shitty thumbnail, but your audience likes you and your audience is okay with interacting with it, then you can just recreate that thing consistently and you'll be fine. So like I would say if you look at Northern Lion's YouTube channel, he's got bad thumbnails, right? He's got bad thumbnails, but he has an audience who likes his content. And because of that, they will continually click the bad thumbnails because they don't care. They like his content and they know what he looks like and they know what the thumbnails are. If he starts uploading crazy good thumbnails, I don't even know if they would work better. I actually think they would probably work worse because his viewers might not be into it.
That's this is what I'm trying to say before, but it is branding. It really is. Like your thumbnails are your branding. And if you do like the really low effort ones, like I remember back in the day, I did this YouTube video and it was a clip compilation. You know, probably shouldn't do that, but people like me watch it. And instead of doing like a high res kind of PSD type of thing, I literally just went into Microsoft Paint. I was like, I just want this to be different. So I just did a purple background and I wrote with the cursor, I am professional streamer, right? And I put it as my thumbnail and people clicked on it because it was just so shoddy. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I had that one at the time, that was like my most watched video because people were like, what the fuck? And it was just something different. And it really is trying to stick out of the pack. We had this thing the other day where Eljay posted, here's a YouTube homepage. Which of these thumbnails stick out the most to you? And it was the one that was different from all the rest. Most of the thumbnails that you see these days are expression, shiny glow, big text, and something like that. But there was ones that were the complete opposite. And those are the ones that you're kind of drawn to because this is now the meta. And this is the ones that are a little bit outside the meta. And I'm interested in those, you know. But it really is such a big weight to how you want to be seen and represented on YouTube as well. Because I know that when I did my Is Water Wet, it's like the average everyday thing. I'm really happy with it, but I just know that, you know, a lot of thumbnails click on that and I'm not a big enough celebrity for people to do it, but I was happy. But it's like, I think I'm getting the style that Ludwig has, that other people have that make it clickable to your own community. But back to the original point of like burnout in general, the fact that you're learning new skills is such an amazing thing because you may not realize it. You may feel like I'm going nowhere. I'm just, you know, spinning in circles. As long as you're progressing in some way, whether that's editing, whether that's how you present yourself, confidence, ideas that you're projecting or different ways to play a game, as long as you are going forward and trying to better yourself and your content, you cannot pass on the fact that is such an amazing thing to do. We have, as a species of humans, we have a tendency to look down on ourselves and go, you're shit, you're just rubbish, what are you doing with yourself? That's what everybody does. I guarantee you, nobody's like, I'm the best person in the world. But as long as you're pushing yourself and you can actually give yourself like a nice compliment, I know that sounds really dumb and cheesy, but honestly, if you can be positive with yourself, you're gonna do so much better. The times that I'm the most positive is when I've done a lot that day. I've done a TikTok. I've done a thumbnail. I've got an idea for a concept for this stream. I've organized a new scene in my OBS. It's like, I haven't been so productive today. I deserve to sit on the couch for the next 2 hours and watch TV. I've earned this. It's the best feeling in the world. The time that it's the worst is when I'm watching TV for like 5 hours, have done nothing for the day. It's creeping up to 4 p.m. and I've done absolutely dead squat. I'm like, I'm a terrible creator. I have done nothing to progress myself, and I can only blame myself. So, yeah, Nick, take over.
I second that entirely. I think the self-reflection is so important. Like, just even if it's like even if you only manage to achieve one thing that day, you can still look at yourself and be like, I still did one thing.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if you went that entire day and you're like, I really didn't achieve anything today, it's like, sure, you're a bit disappointed with yourself, but you can't let yourself you can't beat yourself into the ground. You can't, because it'll just ruin your mood for the rest of the night. And then tomorrow, the next day, you're basically starting with a crap mood because you're like, I didn't do anything today. So I like, instead of kind of being a bit more sort of optimistic and a bit motivational to start the day, you're just starting the day with, I need to do something. Like, you're starting in that negative mindset. And I guess a lot of content creations there's a lot of like mental well-being behind it, because you are being your own boss, and a lot of that will stop you from getting burnt out as well. Speaking of like, sort of doing something different and trying other things, there is the 1 in 5 rule that is talked about every now and then, which Devin has done a video on, and I think a couple other people. I think Eljay's you've touched on it very briefly, I think, in the past as well.
Yeah, but I got a hot take with this one.
Yeah,
you can go on about it, but then afterwards, I'm probably gonna have a hot take about Devin's take.
Yeah, okay, but the idea behind it, for anyone who hasn't heard about it, was trying something like 1 in 5 videos would be something a bit different from your regular content. And obviously there is conflicting views on this topic. I don't have enough knowledge, and I'm not a big, I'm not a regular YouTuber as of yet. I haven't been making regular videos to really weigh into this. I think from a stream standpoint, more specifically, it can, I guess, work because you've got maybe your main game for the week, and then you decide to do a different topic, like Reapz did his Is Water Wet segment on Twitch, and then brought it over to YouTube. That was his different content. That was his like, I'm going to do something different, variety, kind of like as a refresh. Or you do a community night, to break up everything else.
Yes.
So I think from a streaming standpoint, it probably works better, but on sort of the video side of things, definitely conflicting. All right, Eljay, hit me. What's
that's exactly right. Like the streaming stuff, absolutely. If you're going to do 5 streams a week and you want to make sure you do variety eventually, you can have your niche that you do, but then on your 5th stream, you try something new. And I think that's really powerful. YouTube, I actually think it's the complete opposite. Devin talks about how YouTubers have to niche down so much, and he thinks that it's not quite accurate and it's not quite true. They shouldn't have the niche. And he gives a few examples of people who can do the 1 in 5 rule. And then he talks about how he's doing the 1 in 5 rule. But he's saying that audiences who like you will watch you for anything. And I think that it's just not true, because it's not, you need the core audience to click the video for it to even start seeing the algorithm, right? And if you start diluting your audience, and I've seen this for my channel as well, if I do a video about YouTube growth, if the streamers who don't want to grow on YouTube, they want to grow on, say, TikTok, or just want to be streamers, they won't click that, so it'll perform less. So I only make videos about YouTube growth if I know that that is going to be a topic that can get into the search results, so I can bring people in. But then anyone who comes in from the search results but for YouTube growth subscribes to the channel, and they won't click the stuff for streaming, diluting my content and diluting my sub base, and which also means the impressions go out and lowers my click-through rate, right? And you might be thinking, well, no, because just make better clickable, packageable content. You can make something as packageable as you want. If someone does not want to be a YouTuber or does not want to be a streamer, they're not going to click a guide for a YouTube or a streamer.
Yeah.
If someone hates Warzone, they're not going to click your video about Warzone.
Yes.
And I think this really goes to show, because Devin talked about that. And when you go look at Devin's content, you can see he does try this out. And I have by the way, huge amount of respect for Devin. It's just, in particular, this concept of the 1 in 5 rule for YouTube, I do just disagree with. He released a video about, I think it was called, so he does mainly Twitch and marketing, right? Mainly Twitch and marketing. And then he drops a video called COVID-19 vaccine explained by expert virologist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it performed terribly,
Yeah.
like absolutely terribly. And he does this a lot. Like it'll be like Twitch, live streaming, and then he'll even try and go into something like LCS or esports, and that's just slightly off base for him, and it gets like 10K views and never gets seen again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, did Twitch ban simp? Cancel culture. These do like really well, get 50 to 70K, and then you drop the how to build a VTuber brand, and it's like, yeah, that's a cool concept, but 15K, it doesn't work. Yeah. It's like, if you actually want to boom your channel and you're not just making content, like, I don't think Devin treats his channel as if he wants it to boom. He treats it like this is a fun thing for him to do.
Yep.
But if you want your channel to actually boom, you do need to niche. You need to market directly to your audience. And that's why we're growing as a variety is so impossible. And I think the 1 in 5 rule for YouTube, it shouldn't be about the content and the type of content you produce. It should be about 1 in 5, you should try an improvement on your niche. So if you make 5 videos and every single one of them is about Twitch drama, Twitch news, then 1 in 5 of those, you should try change your formula up a little bit. Maybe move your call to action to be 2 minutes earlier. Test those things out, right? I don't think I just don't think it works if you go, oh yeah, I'm going to make a completely different topic. You know, here's Twitch, and then how I finally quit social media. And it's like, you know, like no one really cares about that.
It seems like that the 1 in 5 rule, from when I remember watching it, it came from a place of needing to do something different or work on a project that was more, I guess, stimulating, you know, compared to the normal stuff to mix it up, right? And it's like, you can do that on somewhere else. Make a short video on TikTok or put it on Twitter or something, you know, or hell, just make a second channel. Like if you really feel like you need to make something different just for your own self, put it somewhere else. That way, like Eljay said, you're not, you know, taking away from your main content and risking, you know, alienating existing subscribers and viewers, and then, or, you know, bringing in new people who are interested in that video and then realizing, oh, the rest of this channel is about something I don't even care about.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like Ludwig. You know, he's gone from his main channel, which we know is variety, I would say for the most part, but it all centers around him and his stream. That's his niche in terms of what crazy things you're going to do on stream today. Is a paintball gun, going to buy all this crap from Amazon, yada, yada, yada. But when it's him talking to the audience, like here's a question from a viewer, he puts it on his Mogul Mail second channel, you know, which is just here's my advice channel. And then he's got his VODs channel, which are all the streams that he's done on the one channel. He's prioritized a kind of business model where it's like, if you want this specifically, if you like this most about me, like the raw uncut footage, here's my VODs. If you want direct opinions and critiques, here's Mogul Mail. If you just want light entertainment that you can put on the background for 10 minutes, here's my main channel. And that's such a smart thing to do. At the moment, I only really have 2 channels, and that is my main channel, which is where I put all my variety stuff, and I have my shorts channel where I just want to experiment with shorts and just put shit out there. But the thing is, I know that if, let's just say, for instance, my main channel, one video pops off, that's when I know that I can kind of be like, okay, this is what people like seeing and this is where I should go down. But at the moment, it really is just like an avenue for me to put stuff out there and see what hopefully grabs people's attention. That is the wrong way of doing it. I know this completely, but for me, it's right because I feel good about it. It's like, here's all this different shit. I just want to do variety, and hopefully I've learned from this in the future so that when I do want to niche down, I can niche down, but I'm having so much fun putting this content out there. And I think a lot of streamers, new streamers, struggle with that. If we go back to the original point where they're like, I don't know what to stream, because if I go into the game that I really love, let's just say it's Fortnite, there's however many people above me to do that. So now I've got to try and find, do I go variety where I can kind of tap into different sources until I find one that clicks? Or do I go to a very niche game and just keep playing that? Like, you know, it's usually those top-down isometric games that get a lot of following. Even Destiny 2, I know that's first-person shooter, but there's a community there. Dead by Daylight is a community. So I feel that when people go into those communities and they don't hit it off within the first month, they're like, I'm out. I've got burnout. I can't do it anymore. I'm out. This was all for naught. So I guess the original point is, how do new streamers not suffer from that burnout of not being discovered? Because believe you me, we all started somewhere. You start off with 0 viewers like everybody else who does their first stream because nobody knows about you. What actionable steps can they take to be found and not get burnout?
I mean, it's got to be SMART goals, right? Like that's at its core. It's got to be SMART goals. And I think I think someone's just started mowing right outside. Can you hear that?
No.
You can't? Oh my God. Sure, SM7B, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So like, I think SMART goals have to be the way to go about it, right? Because I'm just gonna pull it up because I want to get the exact wording right. If you're gonna set a goal, it needs to be something you can actually control and achieve. If it isn't, you're setting yourself up for bad times. So SMART goals means specific, sensible, or significant. The M stands for measurable, or meaningful, or motivating. The A stands for achievable, agreed, and attainable. The R stands for relevant, reasonable, realistic, resourced, and results-based. And the T stands for time-bound, time-based, et cetera, et cetera. It's all time. Which means that when you set a goal for yourself, it needs to, okay, so let's be really specific. Let's give an example. I want to improve how my microphone sounds before my next stream. Okay? That is specific. I want my microphone to sound better. I want to improve it. I want to learn how filters work specifically to make my microphone sound better so that you can't hear a fucking lawnmower outside. Okay? Measurable. It is absolutely measurable because I can do a recording today and then I can do all my changes and do a recording tomorrow. I can listen back to it and I can hear that it is improved, or I can show it to others and see if they think it is as well. So it's measurable. Is it achievable? Yeah, I own a microphone. I have the time in my hands. I can look up how to fix it. Is it relevant? Absolutely, because I want to be a better streamer and I want to create better content. So it is relevant to improve my microphone to my goals. Is it time bound? Yes, I have a day and a half until my next stream and I need to improve it before then. That's just one. You can do the same thing with, I want to upload 15 TikToks this week, right? And that is, yeah, it's measurable. There are 15 TikToks that need to go out. It's specific. I want to do TikToks. It's achievable. Absolutely, I can do 15 TikToks. There are so many tools. Is it relevant? Yeah, I want to be a streamer. Is it time bound? Yeah, I've got a week. Like, it has to be SMART goals. I feel like the only way to avoid burnout when you're not being discovered is clear improvements and SMART goals that you feel good about achieving. You go, sure, I only got 3 viewers, but I fucking did everything I wanted to do. I set my goals and I achieved them.
Yeah.
And I think that is where people fail. And I think it's also because the Twitch affiliate system tells them when they're going there that their goals should be followers and viewers to reach affiliate, when in reality, your goals should be improving every single time and meeting actionable and measurable steps, or else, because you can't control your viewers and your followers. You just can't.
No.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah, and you'll get those viewers and followers if you are improving. If you set goals to improve yourself, and it's all about scale. Like, don't set yourself like I think the achievable part of that SMART system is really important, because I think so many people set like just so like unattainable goals like at the very beginning, and it's like, no, you need to be have set realistic goals.
Yes.
Like a funny story. So the other day I have a chicken shop that I go down to get lunch often, and I know the owners, and so I have a chat with him every time I go in. And he knows that I'm a content creator. Every time I go in, he always asks how it's been going. And he told me a story recently where he had a worker he had hired, and she basically said to him, "Oh, I'm gonna like." She basically she decided she was gonna quit and become a content creator, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." And I'm gonna write. It'll be like within a month's time, it'll be going fine. And he was basically telling her like, you realize that it's not going to happen overnight, right? It's not going to happen that quickly. And she was basically like disregarding him, because and then essentially referencing me. He's like, I know someone, he's been doing this thing for 6 years, right? And it took him like a few years before he even got anywhere. And so she kind of disregarded it. And then, yeah, basically like a month later, apparently I think she like came into the shop or something, and he was like, asked her how it went. And she's like, oh yeah, no, I didn't end up doing it. Didn't end up going anywhere. I was like, what did you expect?
Yeah.
What did you expect?
Yeah. A lot of, we should also clarify that when you come up with goals, I think a big one that you said, Nick, is that people are going to be like, I want to get 50,000 followers in a year, those type of goals, or I want to make X amount of money. That is a goal that, yeah, you can put down, but it doesn't actually give you any steps to take on how to achieve that. So really be careful with those SMART goals. Like, do things like, I want to at least at least want to stream 5 times a week for 1 week out of the month, something like that. Don't do a goal of like, I want to buy X before April. That is not a goal that you should be doing. Like, I understand that you want to improve your equipment, because I think another trap that a lot of content creators come into. And this is like marketing in general. And we've talked about this before, but we may as well bring it up here. It's like, I have to own an Elgato Steam Deck. Otherwise, I'm not a true streamer. Like all the people that I know, all the big time content creators.
Yeah.
By the way, we will be sponsored by Elgato, so please do not listen to this.
Yeah,
but it is that thing.
You need this thing that all
You
three
need
of
a
us
Shure
have.
SM7B with a Rode mic arm to really succeed. But I just want to say that when I first started out, I used a
We're so white boy hit streamers, aren't we? I just looked at us and realized that we're just three fucking old white boys with our little Shure SM7Bs talking about content creation
like this.
Oh my God.
I'm the epitome of what you should be looking for. But to bring it back to the original point, when I first started streaming, I literally used, I think it was a Blue Yeti mic. It was just like, I think it was like Snowball or no, I think it was a Yeti actually. It was a Yeti. And I used like a 720p camera. And I had amazing growth just from that, because it really is about the content you provide and not about what amazing peripherals you have. Yes, they grow over time. And yes, when you have them, they make things a lot easier. But please do not think that you have to acquire the top of the line camera or the best microphone to start streaming, because that is a lot of investment that may not come back to you. That is a loss, a net loss if you do that. So really, I would say the actionable goals that you have to kind of carve out a niche and not get burnout is one, do something that you like playing. Yes, you may not be seen, pardon me. You may not be seen, but you will not suffer from that burnout because you're doing something that you enjoy. When you immediately go into something like, well, this is what this streamer's doing, and if I do that, even though I hate it, it's only going to be for a few months, and then, once I get a community, I can transition over to what I really want to do. Do not do that. Holy moly, do not do that, because you are going to hate it, first of all. You're not going to get to that point, and when you do transition over, you're starting from scratch again. That's what I would say. Yep. So really follow those SMART goals, but don't make them crazy goals.
That was one of the things Harris and I were talking about yesterday. So he said to me that one of the major reasons he wanted to jump on the stream and do that little chat, other than the fact that he wants to be my best friend, is the fact that he felt like he wanted to hear directly from a streamer about the things they were struggling with. He wanted to hear from, as he put it in the tweet to a DM, he said, I want to hear from real streamers. So apparently I'm a real streamer.
You're a real streamer.
About their thoughts and difficulties. That's what he wanted to hear, their thoughts and difficulties that they're going through right now. And I think from everyone I've spoken to, and I didn't speak to you guys about this, I kind of know your thoughts as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that every single creator around our size, from the 100 to 200 mark, is kind of plateauing around there, and they're not seeing that kind of like, they're not pushing through it. Yep. And the reason, and it's like, it's hard to do variety content and do that, right? And there are places like that. And I was talking to him about that because you just said the how do you transition stuff, and I referenced to him yesterday Tomshi, who is an Australian Super Mario Odyssey speedrunner. He does All Stars, I believe. He's a good speedrunner, and he's a pretty chill guy. I haven't watched a lot of his content, but I do follow him because I love Smo. And I've seen him recently trying to branch out a lot more. He wants to do different games. He doesn't want to be the Mario guy, as he puts it. And he put a lot of work into into an Arceus video. And he tweeted out right before the interview I had with Harris, he tweeted out that it is really crushing him to be out there creating content and trying to be known as more than the Mario guy, and it just isn't working. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was talking to Harris about it, and Harris was saying that one of the biggest ways he feels the transition, one of the biggest reasons he said the plateau happens is because he feels like content creators around the 100 to 200 mark feel like they are doing everything they should to grow, and they aren't learning marketable, valuable skills, and they're not continuing to improve themselves, which I thought was a really interesting take, because I think that a lot of the time when I plateau, or a lot of the time where I see dips, it's around the time where I have taken a small step back from like pushing hard on like becoming a better content creator and learning new things and improving myself. And then I'll step back into it and I'll start improving myself, and I will see growth. And I think it was really interesting. And then the variety thing, he said for his channel, one of the things that he was struggled with was obviously just stream advice. And I said that I do as well. And it's hard to transition to have variety. And he said, you do your main niche, and I'm paraphrasing here, you do your main niche, you build your audience, but you leave in the personality side of things. You leave in when you flub or make a mistake and you laugh. You let your editors make fun of you. You allow these things to exist, and you become more than just the guy who is there telling them about the advice. and you build jokes into it and you build that. And once you are giving them value and personality, they'll stick around for whenever, even if your content falters a little bit. Which is something that I'm seeing, recently while I'm trying to refine my feet and figure out who I am and what I'm doing. I am noticing again that my audience is going to stick around, which is amazing. But I thought that was so powerful because I've always known, and I think all of us have agreed, that if you want to do variety, it's about finding a niche, growing in it a little bit, finding what works for you, and engaging your community as a community so that they like you for you. And it's pretty much exactly what he was saying as well. It's just most people when they stream and they build in a niche, they're not putting a whole amount of their personality into it. They're just doing narration of a game. And when they try and switch, that's why it falls off, because it's like, well, I was only here because I know you do the game. I wasn't here because you have anything like of value as a human being.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
It's too close to home. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think any of us have really had that issue, because I feel like that's an issue that people who they stream League of Legends get 300 average viewers, and then they try and play anything else and they go down to like 30, 40 average viewers.
Yes.
And that's not me
true.
insulting those people. It's more just when you're playing League of Legends, it's probably quite hard to also be entertaining. And I think at the end of the day, if people are going to find you for X game, they have to stay for a different value, whether it's community, whether it's entertainment value, anything like that. It was really interesting. I don't know. Sorry, I just wanted to wrap up by saying, I just want to wrap this one last thing on this, is that I thought what Harris said was incredibly interesting, because he took it, he didn't say community, he said marketable skills and marketable value. And that is something that I hadn't really thought about a lot recently, is why, like, what is valuable? Because everyone feels like entertainment is value, but there are thousands of creators out there who are more entertaining than me. So what is my value? And when I asked my community, they said, oh, your chat interaction and your stories and your gameplay is kind of backseated, but your stories and stuff is really valuable. And I kind of wanted to ask, this is why I was like, oh, no, is what is each of your values? What do you think you can ask your community this, honestly. Tonight, you guys are both streaming over the next 2 days.
Yep.
But what do you think your value is that you provide that is unique?
Wow. Put on the spot, huh?
Because Harris did this to me yesterday, so I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Harris, you son of a bitch.
Ooh, gosh.
Yeah, honestly, I think, this, you're always going to sound conceited when you say things like that. But I think I have a personality that people can click with, that they know that they can tease me, and it's not going to be, I'm this, eggshell that's just going to fumble and fault and ban you and stuff. I try to create a very inclusive space. And I try and have fun with my community. It's not just you watch me now do my thing. Sometimes it may falter into that, but I try and make them applicable within the game. So if there's like a choice coming up, I'll go to my chat. Let's do a poll. What do I do now? And then obviously I will tease them. They will tease me. I try and make it like I would if I was hanging out with friends. So I think that for me, it's my personality. I think a lot of streamers would say that your personality keeps people around. But I also think it's the fact that I do put a lot of effort in. I really do. Like, my energy is always drained at the end of it. I try and give out the utmost entertainment that I can. And there are days where I do go a bit down. Don't get me wrong. But I think that if people are paying me, I feel a loyalty to them, and I feel a connection that it's like, I know what this transaction is, and I'm not just taking you for granted. I'm going to do the best that I can to hopefully entertain you and distract you for a bit from your life. So that's what I think is my most actionable, marketable strength.
This is gonna be a cop out, but it's gonna be echoing a lot of what you just said, because and honestly, from the truth, like I very much have the same sort of, like, I was just thinking about it as you were talking as well and listening to what you were saying, and a lot of it does fall through with me as well. I've tried to put so much effort as much as I could while growing my skills, which then increases how much effort I'm putting in as well. And a lot of it, is my own personality. People know when they're coming in, they're gonna have a fun time, and there's a lot of question marks in a good way in terms of what fun dumb thing is gonna happen today. Yeah. Like people know when they're coming in who are regulars, they know that there's always gonna be fun. They know that they're gonna be cheered up, and that's, I think, the core of it. They know they're gonna get, like, it's a good quality stream as well, and that. regardless of what I'm doing. Sure, there might be some things that I'm streaming which is going to be more interesting to them than, a game might be more interesting to them than something else. But I think at its core, very much the same. Yeah, exactly what you said, Reapz. Like, people come in. Oh, sorry.
Go.
The streaming has a more of like, you have not like to go on the parasocial thing, but you definitely have a bit more of a there's more of a connection because they're interacting with you live. They're not just watching a pre-recorded video. So they're going, you want to improve their day. You want to entertain, and that at its core, I think. Yeah. For me.
Yeah. Eljay, how did you reply to Harris?
Similar, honestly. It was similar. And we kind of just continued the conversation and moved on and all that jazz. But here's my thing that I've been thinking about for the last 24 hours, right? All three of us have just said very similar reasons for what we think is our marketable value. And I think you're right. Most streamers around our size would say the same thing. And now this is going to be real poignant. And I was going to say this anyway, but now you've said it, I'm a bit nervous because I was going to be more criticizing myself. Do you think one of the reasons why we all sit around where we sit at and we haven't continued to boom is because our marketable thing or our marketable value isn't actually that good and unique enough to hold people? Because every streamer has what we have can get to where we are. But is there something more that we need if we want to push harder than that?
Definitely.
And I think that's what Harris was alluding at, was essentially that everyone can get to 100, 200, but there needs to be something extra that isn't ingrained, something that you put a bunch of time and energy in to give that extra. And I think, look at Granny. Granny has all the same things we just talked about, but then some, Or you look at What If Julia, and What If Julia has all the same things we have, but then she also has like this incredible focus on community outside of the stream, and her amazing ability to network, it feels like to me as a content creator, I look at myself and I thought I had all these things that allowed me to be marketable and allowed me to be valuable. And I realized over the last 24 hours talking to Harris, this isn't demotivating. It's actually quite motivating to think to myself, no, you need to do something else. You need to add to this. You need to push yourself harder. Like you've got Stream Scheme and you've always kind of like sat back and gone, yeah, I got this. It's fine. But that's not going to help you with your stream growth. The YouTube channel, it might, but if your YouTube channel is just the same type of content as other larger creators are doing, and there's nothing brand new, hilarious, nothing unique, nothing that hasn't already been done by someone else better with more resources than you, Eljay, like it's just more, it's not mediocre content. It's probably better than the majority of content.
Yeah.
But is it unique and valuable and actually like sellable? You know what I mean? And I've been thinking about this a lot over the last like 24 hours since I spoke to Harris. Don't tell my wife this is what I was thinking about on Valentine's Day. But I don't know. I feel like I'm questioning and wanting to find what that value and improvement I need to add to my content is. You know what I mean?
I hear you, and I do think you've hit on a fact that you kind of passed by, which you probably already know, but it really is networking. It really is, you need to be around people who are of a bigger size than you, because you can be around obviously people who are the same size, but you've got this basically kind of a shared community kind of vibe there. Like they definitely can come over to you, they'll go over to there, everything like that. But as long as you need that exposure, you need those people to put that trust in you. Like you would be great, to bounce off in this type of game mode and things like that, or to talk with. I definitely think if you go for yourself and you try and grow by yourself, it's going to be very hard to get that marketability approach. You look at all the big time, like YouTubers, like Dream, for instance. He got a network of people to do these manhunts. They have now become massive as a group. And then they can do often, it's kind of like, when you got the band and it's like, okay, we've become really big together. We're the Beatles. We've done it. Now let's go off and do our individual albums and see how we go. That's why I feel like it can be at times. It's like when they all go together. Like the other day, XQC had about 120,000 people watching him play GTA 5, and he was doing that with Saikuno and other big, GTA 5 role players. 120,000 people, as they all wanted the different angles of what this big heist was going on, right? But if it's just you playing by yourself, it's kind of like, I've only got the one angle, and it's, not that, I love you. I love you as a streamer, but I watch you every single day and I know exactly your idiosyncrasy and everything like that. But when you're in a different dynamic, that's when a different side of you shows. So I would say a big thing is networking, marketability towards those people, and how you portray yourself when you get in that situation.
That's really interesting. So I don't know. I think I'm not saying that we aren't all taking steps to improve and add marketable value to ourselves. It's more just, I think it's something that I want to consistently think on. So how about this? Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Before the next podcast, what is one SMART goal or one actionable improvement from each of us that we're each going to do?
Ooh, okay.
Do you want me to go first, and that way you guys can think on yours?
Yeah, give me time to think. That'll be great.
I think within the next week, my actual SMART goal is I want to go back to the way I was about 6 months ago in terms of energy I put into taking my stream to be more dynamic. But I want to apply it to how comfortable and how confident I am now. So 6 months ago, I would use a lot of zooms and a lot of bleeps, similar to what you do, Reapz, and Nick with the sound effects and stuff as well. But I cut a lot of those back because I was trying to figure out what my core content was. And I think I'm back at my core content now, that I want to get back into using certain things again to increase that and add to that.
Okay.
Not all the time, but I want to do more of that. And to help with that, one of the things I'm going to do that is actionable is before next podcast, I want to add a new engagement tool that I can use to engage the stream during just chatting segments. For example, I think I'm going to set up a thing called a weird news, where someone can redeem for like 50,000 points. That I will pull up a weird news article and we'll go through and we'll read a weird news article together at the start of the stream.
Lovely.
And I think I'm going to incorporate that, get that running, and try that out before the start of next stream, before the next podcast.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
Did you want me to go, Nick, or would you like to go?
If you've got it, you go.
Sure.
You go. I'm still thinking.
I thought of two things immediately straight off the bat because I've got to put my money where my mouth is. So I think what I'm going to do is try and do not networking per se, but try and talk to other partners in perhaps doing a new PogChumps episode. This I think is always good. I know it's something I've done in the past, but it did show a lot of success. It's just a lot of work to do. But it also gives me kind of collaborations that I would love to do with people and really kind of show what we're all about and hopefully learn new communities, learn new ways of interacting with people, because everyone's different. You've got to interact with somebody completely different. And I've been very much a bubble apart from the few times that I've done collaborations, but I want to do more collaborations. So I think I'm going to reach out to some Twitch Australia, New Zealand partners and see if they would like to do PogChumps. I will also, recently we've done a thing on my channel called Quote of the Day. And I want to create a scene where it's like a big kind of, quote of the day, boom, 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 that kind of thing. So when people say something interesting or really funny in the chat, I will play that and I'll make it feel like a big deal for them interacting. And then we make it a command. So people type in QOTD and they go, this is what this person said at this time. And it's kind of like, they are the quote of the day. They feel enamored to be there. So I think those are the two things that I'd go for.
Yeah.
I love it. I like it. I'm going to steal your collab one as well. Before next podcast, I'm going to organize a collab. Yeah. I'm going to steal that one as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I was thinking, and like collab was one of the things that sort of crossed my mind specifically straight away was because I haven't really done any collabs in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I want to do and actually get something concrete with someone who I share a similar vibe with, and communities, sort of stream style is very similar as well. And I want to try and organize it at least in the next week or two, and then hopefully act on it in the next sort of 4 weeks from now, kind of in that sort of time space. Yes. That's something I really want to do. And then I guess a secondary one would be to add on. Recently, I've been sort of like refining. So I love my sound effects, my meme pop-ups, and recently we've been sort of refining kind of that balance. So one thing I want to continue working on is kind of tweaking that balance, sort of how often people can act stuff, how much is these things interrupting rather than being additive.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess brainstorming what other things I can add that are additive? What other little pop-ups or effects can I have that's additive that people can interact with rather
It's
than
really nice.
just being disruptive?
Yeah. I completely agree with that, Nick, because I know sometimes it's more of a distraction than an additive thing, what I do. And I've honed back on that, or some of them. I'm sure there's other people like, you got to stop doing this. But yeah, you're right. As Eljay said earlier in the podcast, looking back on your streams is one of the most invaluable tools, even if it isn't just to see where you dipped off or dipped in. Sometimes you go, I had a really good stream today. And then you look back and go, oh, that's clunky. Oh, that part of the green screen is a little bit loose there, you know? And not a lot of people do that, especially when you're starting off. Definitely look back on your streams. You have to. It's so invaluable to do. But I don't think a lot of people do it because of that reason. One, they hate their own voice, or they hate how they look, or, you know, whatever. Believe me, we know. Straight after this, I'll be editing and I look at myself and sound, and I'm just like, oh, you piece of you garbage human. What are you doing? Yeah. So it really is that thing of like, you just have to learn what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And those weaknesses can be turned into strengths if you do, like you said, the SMART goals, and actually go, that's my weakness. I can make this my strength if I really push myself. And then you're an all around better content creator, like editing. For us, we know that ours is about streaming, but I reckon in real life, an invaluable tool to have is just to have a rudimentary, even elementary skill of editing. Because if you can edit, you don't need to rely on other people to do things for you, or, you know, money to give to them. You can do it yourself. And it's so like, even outside of content creation, editing is an amazing thing to do. And there's so many YouTube tutorials about it that I know that sometimes I'm like, I forgot how to do masking for this effect. I go on YouTube, I learn it in 5 minutes. There's no excuse not to do it.
Does it? I mean, even people who have like gone and studied this kind of stuff, they'll, you know, you'll still like for me, I studied 2 years of VFX, and every now and then I'll still go and Google something, be like, how do I do this thing? Got it. And then you just eventually just becomes second nature. Like, I think it's very, great words, fulfilling when you actually go out and learn how to do this stuff yourself. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I can do a lot of this myself, that I can do a lot in After Effects, whether I'm in Photoshop or Affinity Designer, that I can just create a lot of stuff. Just, you know, and I'll be like, I have an idea for something. I'm going to go to YouTube, figure out what technique I need to like, or what steps I need to do to get to this end product, and then apply that in my own way. Or I'll take a template from somewhere, I'll buy a template and then completely reverse engineer it and make it my own, which is how the Marvel Waluigi thing came to be. So yeah, I think there's a lot of fulfillment that comes from it. Yeah, just being able to do that yourself and having those skills.
Yeah. Okay, so so Reapz, let me just clarify your 2 SMART goals, Reapz, real quickly, and then I'll clarify Nick's as well.
Yes.
Reapz, your SMART goal, one of them was you want to contact more partners about potential pog chumps. I'm doing this. I'm making us accountable.
Hold us accountable. Hold us all accountable.
On the wrist.
Okay. And then what was your second one? You had 2.
I was going to do an effect or a scene for quote of the day.
Quote of the day scene. Yes. Okay. All right. And Nick, yours was you wanted to do a contact for a collab as well. Was that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Collab contact as well. And you wanted to adjust your engagement tools to be additive. Like that. Additive. That's how you spell it. And then I wanted to re-engage my animations and movements to make more dynamic scenes. And I wanted to also, I'm going to contact someone for a collab as well. And I think that'll be, and weird news. So those are my ones there. Boom. And if we want to get really fancy, by the way, boys, seeing as we've all just said learning new skills, what if we all each add our own new skill and put our money where our mouth is, show the listeners, you know, we're going to improve ourselves as well. A skill that we can each pick up before the next podcast.
Sheesh. What skill are we talking about?
I mean, it has to just be something that makes us a better content creator, or would help us be more marketable in some way. I feel like if I had to learn a new skill in the next 7 days that I think would help me, I think the skill that I would like to pick up Oh, fire out. It's really tough.
Yeah.
I think my next 7 days, if I'm learning a new skill or learning a new algorithm, I'm going to spend the entire time refreshing myself about YouTube retention rate.
Okay.
So I'm going to come in hot next week, and when we revisit these next week, I'm going to talk about the fact that I've gone in and learned a lot more about the YouTube retention rate system. I already know a decent amount, but I'm going to refresh myself, because the moment I stop openly refreshing and openly working on it, I'm sure that's when I'm going to start to fail.
Nick, to anyone on the vodcast, please show the little puppy right now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he was barking up a storm, so I needed to go calm him down for a moment.
Oh, he loves you. Oh, this is like, you got to watch the podcast if you're not watching the podcast.
You want to see cute dogs? Yeah, it's
Oh
great.
my God.
My
Yeah,
community have a great engagement tool where if I bring him on the stream, there's an exclamation mark squeak, which does a little squeaky toy sound, and the sound comes out of the headphones, so he hears it, and they eat that up completely.
That is awesome.
So apologies for missing the last few minutes.
We're each coming up with a skill that we should learn in the next 7 days as well. Because since we're talking about smart goals, burnout, and all that stuff, I figure let's put our money where it is and use this and our audience as a way to hold ourselves accountable, and also show them that it can be done.
I want to learn to juggle.
Juggle? Yeah.
Will that help you on stream? Because I'll tell you what, right now, it's helped me on stream because I can juggle.
Really?
You can juggle, really?
How good are you
I
at juggling?
I'm actually a professional. I juggled I started juggling when I was in high school because we were poor. So I'd go around and I'd find all my mates who had apples or oranges they didn't want to eat. And I'd be like, hey, can I borrow that? I'll show you guys I can juggle. I'll teach you how to juggle. I'd take all their apples, I'd juggle a bit, teach them, and then I'd eat the apples. And then I just kept doing it because I learned it was a really good way to keep yourself fresh and keep your brain active. So I can. Do you want to see it?
Yeah. Come on, let's go.
I mean, for audio viewers, I will describe in detail. Eljay's now getting out of his chair, walking across, and he's got 3 balls in his hand.
The ball goes up and it goes down.
These are juggling balls.
I haven't even thrown them yet, guys. I just got my pants off. Okay, I'm probably gonna be. I gotta move the mic away for you guys to see this.
Yeah, of course.
But you'll be able to see it.
Okay, here we go. Eljay's about to throw said balls. He's got 3.
Add some
Like
circus
hacky
music
sacks.
in post. Add some circus
I'm not
music.
gonna listen to your voice.
Yeah.
Okay, shoot.
Here we go. Oh,
look at him go.
Look at him go.
Oh, he did. He's doing it
He's getting fancy. Wow.
Hey. Whoppa.
Wow.
Whoppa.
Amazing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen who aren't watching the podcast, he did the usual kind of juggling, but then he did tricks. Like he did one around the arm, over the head.
And underneath.
Underneath.
He was doing a handstand at one point.
I was scared, to be honest with you, because I feel like
if I'm stood up, I can actually like land it onto my knee and bounce it back up.
Oh, that's impressive.
I can throw from behind the back and everything like that. I've been doing it for years. I also learned card tricks and magic tricks. It was a great way. When I first started going out clubbing, I would go out, and if you're wondering why I'm a streamer, by the way, these kind of things is why I'm out for looking for attention. If I went out clubbing and I met new people, I'd be like, you want to see a card trick? And they'd be like, yeah, okay. And I do a card trick, and then I just start hanging out with them, and we just chat.
Oh, look at that!
Because I learned how to palm cards, so like you can be like, here's your card, cool, and like you can flick it, and essentially it gets caught behind your finger and hides it.
Yes.
And then you just do a flick back, and you can catch it.
Yeah.
And I learned how to do like really simple sleight of hand card tricks. People loved it.
So wait, I have this mental image of Eljay going into the club. The music's blaring loud. He's like, "You want to see a card trick?
No. If the music's too loud, turn it down. I need to do a card trick.
They want to see a card trick, and I can't do it if you're playing the music. No, that's
the
very
next
good.
Chris Angel, trust me.
This is a mind freak. I was going to say is my actionable thing is I'm not going to say that I'm going to become a pro at it, but I'm going to take the first steps into learning Leorin board 2. Because I would like to make it a feature of the stream, and I don't know much about it. I know that there's a lot of coding and lines and things like that, but I think it'll be a nice thing to learn because I would like to see if I can make it actionable and hopefully, as we said, additive and not distracting when it comes to the stream.
One thing I'll touch on is one thing you might another option would be streamer.bot. as
I was going to say
Streamer.bot.
streamer.bot's a better one for you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? Okay. Streamer.bot.
It's way easier to learn, and it's also way more, I think, in depth. Personally, I would say.
I'm going to
There's-
put it in
there's a
general
lot
just
of-
so they don't forget. Sorry, everyone.
I've put it in the revisit topics if you want.
Oh,
You can.
thank you, friend.
At the
Thank
moment, you could move your entire alert system over to streamer.bot and just have everything locally in OBS as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's very much like it's like a simplified coding thing. It's like if this, then do this kind of stuff.
Streamer.bot, everyone.
Right.
Streamer.bot. That's what I'm going to hopefully follow up with.
Yeah, and then if you want, I guess, if you want more simplicity with still like most of what Streamer.bot can do, BikuBot is another fantastic one. That one's not free right now. It's called BikuBot, BIKU bot.
Okay.
That one's not free at the moment as it's still in alpha. But like you can sign up to the Patreon to get access to that one because it's still being actively worked on by one guy. That one's also another option for people. That one's it's a very more simplified sort of tool in terms of user interface and setting stuff up, but does have a lot of functionality for setting up redemptions and a bunch of stuff. And alerts are coming soon to BikuBot as well.
Oh, I'm excited. You've got me excited. Yeah. I'm on the homepage now of streamer.bot and I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
so simple. Ooh. Anyway,
Nutty's got a really good guide on it.
Have you thought of one?
I'm trying to think, right? Because I know how to use Photoshop really well. Like I know how to use artifacts. Like I know how to edit really well. Like I'm trying to think of what's something that I could feasibly sort of learn in the next week.
Well, Eljay had a good one of retention on like just learning the theories.
So
and
yeah,
algorithms.
I just want to refresh myself on retention rate, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to dive back in and kind of pick myself back up. Like for example, 2 weeks ago I set this exact same thing for myself offline and said I want to do a whole deep dive for the next week back into thumbnails, and be more creative with my thumbnails. So if you already know Photoshop, maybe you could set yourself and say like you want to actually start making like really like clickable, highly engaging thumbnails similar to like what large creators do or something. Just to bounce ideas. I'm not saying your thumbnails are shit.
Well, no, but they are. They absolutely are. They are. One's a spectacular one. No. It's a good point because like I'm at the point where I'm currently working on some two reviews for Logitech headphones. And the next step for one of them is to actually be making the thumbnail. So that honestly is like I do want to get better. I want to learn how to make an engaging identical thumbnail without like cluttering it, like making it simple but still really clickable. That's definitely something that I would really want to get better at. So I'll probably look into that, study like other thumbnails and I guess just general graphic design stuff and see how people use certain elements and how they make things stand out. So yeah, that'll probably, I guess, that's a good one. Be my goal is to have a good thumbnail.
StreamerBot, thumbnail, deep dive, retention rate. Sorry, done. All right, Nick, I've added it. Calm down.
Don't even try back out. You're doing it.
Time for ADHD meds.
No, you're all good. It's nothing like that at all.
I know.
So I think it's interesting because this is like I know people are probably thinking like, man, these guys have really gotten off topic today. But I don't think so. I think this is in the core of it. If you're doing with burnout, if you're worried about burnout, what we've just done for the last 45 minutes discussing smart goals, discussing what we're going to do over the next week to improve. This is how you avoid burnout.
Yes.
Not just setting them, but 7 days from today, if we've done all of these things, we have proof that we have worked and been productive and that will make us feel good.
Exactly.
And we will see results from it.
The best thing that you can do is have something on the horizon, because when you're just standing in place and there's nothing coming up and it's just nothing, that's when you really do feel it more so than anything. So I think we've done actionable things. We have done smart goals literally just then in terms of what's going to help us be better creators. And you know what? If I was the listener right now, I would steal some of this stuff. I would go, maybe I need to refresh this or learn this, because as you said, we're not, a crazy professionals. We're always going to be learning. And if this is the stuff that we're doing when we're around this range and say one of us is successful, well, you've got kind of like a little template or a little blueprint for how you yourself can get better retention rate or community. So please steal it. And again, I'm going to hark back to this. Please leave questions and comments and opinions and stuff in the comments so we can actually go further into it. Shall we finish off today with that, Eljay? Do you have the questions up here?
I will pull it up. I believe we had a question we had two questions. One of them was about collaborations, and do you ever get stressed during collaborations with others when trying to make sure you're balancing your Twitch chat, your normal chat, and so many things like that, which I think we covered briefly in the collab episode, but I'd say, yeah, all of us do get a little bit stressed, but we all agree kind of that in collabs, the most important thing is the collaboration rather than necessarily reading every chat message. Would you guys say that's accurate?
Definitely. When you yourself are the, I should say, catalyst for the collaboration, and you're the one in charge of what you're all doing today, as I've said, I always talk about this, but with PogChumps coming up, which hopefully I'll have by next week, you are responsible for everything going smoothly. Score points, making sure that everyone can be heard, questions, answers, and there's always things on the fly. People's internet goes out. It's hard. And I do feel like I do get stressed. And if you don't feel like you're getting stressed, then do you really care about what you're doing? Because I know that if I really care, I'm stressed out, man. Like, this is my brand. This is me trying to create a melting pot of people. So yes, I would definitely say so. But the solution for it is just to make sure that you've tested everything beforehand. You sent out all the relevant information and they've replied saying, I have received said information. And then enjoy it as much as you can given the time, because there will be a point, especially right before you go live, that you're stressed out of your fucking mind. But then when it happens and people are in the swing of things, you will have the time of your life and feel so good after it.
100%.
It's funny you say that. That morning of PogChumps, I woke up and I was like, oh, I need paper and a marker. I was like, oh crap, I need some paper right now. And so that was really, I was like panicking, like, oh god, I hope I have paper and like a texter around. So I completely forgot.
I could see, Jesus.
Like, oh gosh.
All good.
One thing that interested me, right? Because Reapz, you went because obviously you engaged with your chat a lot.
Yeah.
What was that like going from like your normal content to then going to that PogChumps episode where you pretty much just did not look at your chat and you were obviously putting on a show?
Yeah.
But what was that?
It was
like?
scary. Definitely scary. But again, as we've said so many times, and they're the unsung heroes and some mostly unpaid heroes, the moderators really make a difference. The moderators drive things. They engage chat. They make sure that everyone's being heard, and they go, we understand you're talking to Reapz, but he can't stop for your, sub alert or anything like that because there's other people here. So it was definitely, I was in uncharted waters. But again, there was a time where I switched off and I was focused solely on the people that I was collaborating with and the topics that we're collaborating with. And it was honestly so much fun, and chat loved it. Hence, they were like, please do a Kahoot version, which we can play, which I did. And then 70 plus people were signed up to Kahoot playing PogChumps with me the next time. So it was amazing. That's awesome. I need to get back into it. So yeah.
Big ups on the moderator comment as well. Yesterday when I was doing the chat with Harris, there was so many people being like, at Eljay, can you ask this? Or at Eljay this, or this is this. Someone gifted 5 subs. And I was like, thank you, but I'm not going to pay attention to it, and blah, blah, blah. Which was wild because I wanted to give Harris my full attention. As an interviewer. One of the most important things you do is make sure you're not listening for the chance for you to ask your next question, but instead simply listening to the person and you take something from it. So, if I was interviewing Reapz just then, he talked about those moderators and I came in and just said, blah, 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 and continue the conversation. That's a shitty interviewer. But I hear Reapz mentioning how his moderators were so helpful. And legitimately, that is probably one of the biggest things for collabs is that your chat will fall off and die if you don't have someone there engaging them.
Yes.
And one of the things that happened yesterday with me and Harris was my moderators, specifically I saw Benjamin doing this a lot, one of my mods, and I can't believe it. It's so thankful to him. I didn't ask him to, he just jumped in and was handling it. People would ask me things and he'd say, hey, Eljay will go through all the sub alerts, all the follows. He'll go through everything. He'll probably answer all your questions right after. It's just a big moment. It's a bit of a different stream where he has a chance to talk to Harris. And so he's going to focus on that.
Yep. Smart. We love you, Benjamin. We love you, Benji.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout
Hit
out.
the mods.
Give that man a raise. 2 high fives.
I was going to say, Eljay has this system with his mods where they pay him to be a moderator. It's a weird thing, but I just thought that we should call that out. Yeah, we should call that
They
out.
sub to me. Yeah. They sub to me. So that's how I allow them to stay. If they unsub, they lose their mod
That's
back.
I go, you dirty moderators. Yeah.
The second question we have is... Do you think YouTube will hamper the discoverability of videos if it doesn't censor their curse words? Or if you check that a video isn't made for kids, would it not matter if it's censored or not for discoverability? I know it hurts your CPM, but I wonder what the algorithm portion is. And they went on to ask a few more questions. To answer this question, it'll definitely hurt your CPM. But yes, it will also hurt your discoverability. It's been pretty much proven that if you say like heavy swear words in the first 30 seconds, it's pretty rough. But the more swears you do throughout the thing, you know, the less advertisers can be put on it. And at the end of the day, guys, YouTube wants to make money. And I know they say there's no correlation between revenue and, no correlation between videos that earn more money versus videos that don't being shared. But at the same time, there's a reason why long retention rate videos with no swearing, with high CPM, and perfectly capable of being shown to kids over and over and over again, dream, why they do so well is because they are so applicable, right? And even Small Ants briefly mentioned, you know, he can't swear in his videos because it does affect it. And Ludwig's talked about it before, that he tries not to swear in the first section of it. And the first section thing is mainly because there are different classifications when you upload. And there's things like, there's no swearing in this. For the swearing one, there's no swearing in this. There's, we've censored any swear words, and there's only light profanities like shit and crack and blah, 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 and stuff. And then it's like, I swear, I really swear, holy shit, do I swear? I said a slur. And it's like, and you've got to select it. And essentially, the riskier you are, it does affect it, right? Like everyone agrees that it does affect your overall.
With that, Eljay, because I don't know much, I always, when it asks me, is this video made for kids? I always go, no.
Yes.
With that, if I have a video where I don't swear at all, but obviously it's not such a topic that would appeal to kids, should I still be like, yes, this is for kids, even though there's no swears in it, or what?
No. If it's not for kids, it's not for kids. Don't stress too much on that. I think at the end of the day, you just click it if it is made for kids, you click it if it isn't. And most of us are made for children. I think made for children usually means, you know, it's toy reviews and stuff like that.
Okay, great.
But also you don't really want to be put in the bank of being made for children because you have such stricter revisions and reviews and stuff on your content. You just have to do it. Just mark all your content as accurate as possible. But I will say, try and cut back on swearing, including cut them out so you don't even bleep them. Use them very sparingly if you can. And we have tried to do that on the podcast moving forward, because we don't want Reapz to have to mute every single swear word. But right now we just mute the first like 5-10 minutes of swears, and then we try not to do any more. In my latest video, I bleeped any swear words I said, because I swear a lot on stream. And we bleeped them with like a Microsoft crashing sound.
Lovely.
But then one right in the middle, I bleeped the F word with the Discord ping notification.
Everyone immediately pauses video, retention rate goes, they're checking their Discord.
Legitimately, there's a spot right there where it shows just like this little spike of people going back and listening to that section over and over, because they realize it's like I'm not even joking. Like you see the retention rate, and then right there is a little triangle with the BB, because people are like, wait, what? And they go back and they listen.
Oh God!
You
okay, that's
evil man. That's
invaluable
great.
tool. Really do it. Yeah.
You know, a good description, Eljay. Treat it like a PG film. You get one F word, make it count.
True. No, that's a really good way of putting it. Because on Stream Scheme, I will only use the F word and swear to add emotional effect.
Right.
Because I'm a big believer in, no matter what content you're producing, you need to invoke an emotional feeling in some way.
Okay.
And if I want to really hammer home a point, I'll be like, at the end of the day, you're working hard, you want to grow. So why are you doing this? You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I have to bleep, and that's enough for an emotional effect.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how I use it. And I need to be better at my other stuff for that. So to answer your question, yes, it does affect your discoverability. It also, in a weird way, it also affects your audience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people actually surprisingly are kind of tight about swear words.
Yep.
A lot of America really don't like swear words. This is I didn't expect this, but I said the F word a couple of times the other day during an American time zone stream, and a couple of Americans were like,
you
really swear a lot there. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I guess I don't really hear it, you know?
Yeah,
like, I'm not
we're
saying
Australian. Especially the C word. Like, yes, the C word's very casually thrown around here, right?
Yep.
But other parts of the world, it's not. And sometimes as an Australian, you forget.
Yeah, it's funny because my whole like kind of gimmick, I would say, is that obviously I'm on a late night talk show type of thing, and so I bleep all my words. But the reason why I did it, it wasn't because I was, didn't want to insult people. The reason why I did it was directly from Arrested Development, which is one of the funniest jokes in it. It's when Job is talking about like what he's done to a woman, and he's like, I'm f***ing ring, and it's the ring at the end of it that they don't bleep, that you're like, that is the funniest thing ever, but you know exactly what he's talking about. So that was the whole reason why I did it, and it's paid off in terms of that. But I swear like a sailor, like it's
I
just
think
funny.
the bleep, like especially when you do it on stream, because we have that button where it's like it's more of like a comedic effect thing.
It is,
rather than
because it's so much funnier. Like when you censor something that you know exactly what they're saying. To me, that's hilarious. It's you can see the outline of their mouth saying it's just
something about doing it in a live stream format where it's like, oh, you didn't just go and post and bleep it. This person's bleeping it live. Like obviously a lot of people know about the GoXLR now. Some people still don't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Every time I bleep something live, someone goes, wow, how did you make the bot recognize to bleep you? How did you do that? And I go, it's actually just the bots. It's a bot that we built ourselves to catch swear words because they're Australians. It's really easy. Or I do the old one where I go, oh, it's actually not, I'm not actually swearing. It's just, I just tense my throat muscles and make the sound. And they'll be like, what? And I'll be like, watch. and they're like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And then I realize they're 12 and I have to ban them.
Oh, imagine a not for broadcast DLC, but it's like streamers.
Oh,
like
the whole thing. You just hold down the censor button and you've won. It's like 100% accuracy. You've done it.
Just hold it down. God, that'd be so cool.
All right, boys, we've been talking about this, but we're going to wrap it up, I think. We're nearly at around 2 hours. But we'll just quickly go over in terms of burnout. Do actionable things, which we just talked about, is our big takeaway. And again, if you've got comments, questions, everything, please let us know. But I will obviously hand it over to Eljay and Nick. Any last words before we sign off for the day?
Not really. But I think this was a very loosey-goosey podcast, and I like it when
I like loosey-goosey,
because it's fun. It's just fun to have fun with it, and I hope you guys realize that sometimes they will be loosey-goosey, but you'll still get actionable stuff if you kind of follow it. And hopefully we can lead by example with our SMART goals and our new skills. Because I've got them here, and I'll make sure I hold us accountable next week, hopefully.
Yes, we will get the cane if we do not do the we'll show the welts on camera.
Man, like that's gonna be our new tagline, the stream room. We like to get loose. That's
well, to be fair, last episode, Nick, you did literally say, I'm a bit loose.
Yeah.
And then you keep going, but then you just hear me go and you're like, all right.
All right. Realizing what I just said.
All right.
All right, that's it. I got nothing to add. We're good.
We're good. All right. Well, have a lovely day, night, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for listening or watching the podcast. We'll be back next week with an all new topic, if not even a guest. Who knows? We're going to do some different crazy things. We're going to follow up on all of our goals. But from here, I am Reapz. Obviously, you can follow on all the socials. Eljay.
I am Eljay, and you can follow me on socials.
All socials as well?
You will
follow on all the and Nick.
And yes, I'm Nicktacular everywhere, but no R on the end. All right,
no
Nicktacular like Dracula.
Tula.
Yes,
chula, like a tarantula.
But
this is here.
Go subscribe, guys. Subscribe to Stream Room.
We are dropping frames at the moment, so we're going to sign up for today. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.